Welcome back to Sovereign Alchemy. I'm Cindy Carter, and this is episode 2, and we're still in the fire. It's still burning. We're still in the calcination. It's the first phase of alchemy to becoming sovereign. So last week in this series, we lit the match. We talked about what calcination is, the activation of awareness, and what it looks like and what it feels like and what happens when the heat gets turned up. So today we're going to go a little deeper, because awareness without the investigation is just going to result in some major discomfort. And I don't want you sitting around in discomfort while knowing what to do with it. That makes a difference. So today we're going to look directly at what's running you without your permission. So this is where it kind of gets real. This is phase 1, and it's all about the unconscious program. So here's something that you could sit with. Have you ever thought about how much of your life is actually unconscious? Well, researchers have estimated between 90 and 95% is unconscious. I couldn't believe it was that high. I was hoping it would be lower. But I know that we use just a minutia of what we were given. So, wow, are we all automatons? We're only conscious for 5% or 10% of our life? Wow. So that means like most of what you do and most of what you say and most of how you respond to life is not actually chosen for you. It's not actually chosen by you. It was just automatic. It's a program running in the background and you didn't write it. It didn't come from your being. It didn't come from the core of you. So where did this program come from? Some of it came from your childhood, spoken and unspoken, about who you were, what you were worth, what was safe in your life, what was dangerous in your life, what love looked like, and what you had to do to belong in that unit. So some of it came from your lineage. And, as we talked about in Field Notes, one of my last episodes, was about epigenetic patterns and how they run through your cells that originated generations before you were even born. That's what motivates us. So we also need to understand that our past life influences are held within your cellular body. The automatic responses and the understanding from your traumatic past, it makes for a very busy cell. Some of it came from your culture, some of it from religion, some from a collective agreement about how things are supposed to be. So here's the thing, none of it asked for your permission. It just got installed, like software you never agreed to download. So now it's running quietly in the background, and it shapes and influences every freaking decision and every reaction you have, every relationship, every choice you have as a human. Until the fire of calcination finally gets hot enough that you actually notice. So here we are in real life. So what does an unconscious program actually look like in real human life? Well, I'll give you some examples. Are you repeating the same kind of relationship over and over again? The kind that's an emotional roller coaster, maybe? Different person, same dynamic, different name, same feeling, same outcome. That's a program. So let's say you work like incredibly hard to achieve real things and still feel like it's never quite enough. You don't know where this feeling comes from, but it motivates you because it's never quite enough. Like the goalpost keeps moving. Like you're always one more thing away from finally feeling okay. Perfectionism or attainment, well, that's a program. So let's say somebody raises their voice at you and something in you just shuts down immediately or even explodes right in front of you and you just shut down. Before you even decide to do it, before you even made a choice otherwise, that's a program. So let's say you get really close to having something nice, something good, a nice house, a better relationship, an opportunity, a long-term dream of yours, and something in you finds a way to somehow sabotage it. I know this happens a lot. I see this in healing sessions. Right before healing sessions, personal crisis happens. Something out of the blue just stops the process. That's a program. So you got to understand at this point, once you see the programs, these are not your character flaws. They're not your weakness or your spiritual failure or because you're broken, because you're not. These are simply patterns to recognize. It's information that was installed too early. It was information that was reinforced often all around you, just running automatically. And the moment you see the pattern, really see it, is the moment you stop being its passenger and just going along with it and you start becoming the observer. That is calcination doing its work. So let's look at the cellular level of this because you know that's what I like to do. Here's what's happening inside the body when these programs run. Your nervous system learned really early on what was safe and what wasn't. And your nervous system built these highways, actual neural pathways in the brain to respond to these perceived threats. And they come on as fast as possible. They made these straight pathways. Before your thought, before your reason, before your choice. That's why you can't just think your way out of a deep pattern. You might be able to understand it completely. Like you can map it, you can name it, you can analyze it, and you can still find yourself running it as the first trigger. Because the pattern doesn't live in your thinking mind, it lives in your body. It lives in the speed of your heartbeat, in the tightening of your chest, in your gut wrench, in the way your breath gets really shallow when something really unfamiliar or unsafe happens. No mind, just body. Your cells have been practicing this response for years and decades and, hey, maybe lifetimes. But that's okay, because practice makes perfect. Ask an athlete. It's not really perfect. It's just permanent. These permanent pathways. So this is the work of calcination at the cellular level. It's not about forcing any kind of change. This is happening naturally, but you have to recognize and become conscious throughout. So this is about one thing. It's about interruption. It's about interrupting this pattern, interrupting this trance. The moment you notice the pattern is activating in you, you can make that a magic moment. That pause, even for one breath, a pause. It's an important moment. Just remember this. Just as you are interpreting a program that's been running on autopilot, pause. because this pause is everything. That pause is the beginning of you rewriting this code, finally. Because you're not the programming. This is about upliftment. That's what the body's naturally doing. That's what the body's naturally offering you. So let's say it clearly. You are not the patterns, and you're not the program. You are the awareness that can now see the program running. And that distinction, that space between a stimulus and then your response, this is where your sovereignty truly lives. It might be a tiny little space, a fraction of a second, like a single breath of awareness, but that space is real, and it's yours, and it grows with your acknowledgement. Every time you notice, every time you pause, every time you choose even slightly different, something that's not programmed, something that's not automatic, you're actually proving to your nervous system that there is another way. You're literally building a new pathway, a sovereign pathway, a conscious pathway. But remember, there'll be days when the old pattern wins and you'll go down the old pathway, because it will, because you're human. And this is alchemy, and you're never at any one phase at any one time. They overlap constantly. This is why we stay conscious. But remember, all this is not a failure. This is information, and it's showing you where the work still lives within inside you. And the work isn't punishment. The work is really the most loving thing you'll ever do for yourself, is to see your patterns. So take the moments to discern the patterns. Just pause in it. That's it. See what comes after the pause. You can see your automation for what it is and do something different consciously. So if we look at this, from a big view, from a grander view, a macro view, because the micro is your body. Let's look at the macro, the environment. Because, unconscious programs don't just run in individuals, not just in a human body. Think of all the different unconscious programs running around bumping against each other. Well, they also run in families that bump up against each other, in communities, in cultures that bump up against each other, in entire nations. I think you're seeing it in the world now. Doesn't that make you feel a little better that what you're going through, everyone is going through? It's just whether or not you're conscious within it. This is calcination. But you have to think about consciously the collective programs that humanity's running under. Scarcity, separation, fear of other people, compliance as a safety measure, power over instead of power within. These aren't just personal patterns, they're planetary patterns. And they're running in the same unconscious, automatic way until enough people wake up to them. Until enough individuals do the personal work of seeing their own programs clearly and interrupt them. So you do this for yourself, and it affects the collective automation. You are interrupting the program. Yay! Yay! This is why individual sovereignty is a collective act. When you stop running your unconscious program and you stop contributing, it stops contributing to the field. It interrupts it. You stop passing it to your children, your relationships, your communities, one interruption at a time, one pause at a time, one, truly sovereign choice at a time. And it does ripple outward in ways you'll never fully be able to measure, Because this is the macro view of calcination. It's not just a personal awakening. Planetary interruption is occurring, and it's exciting. So next week, we complete the calcination phase with episode 3. I've called it The Courage to See Clearly, because once you know what's been running you, once you see the pattern, it kind of takes a particular courage to keep looking at it, because it might get ugly. But it does take a sovereign being, a compassionate being, to not turn away, to not go back to sleep. So come ready for that one. So take a breath and feel your feet and welcome back, and thank you for staying sovereign. I'll see you on the path.